Hi, friends. This is Sanjay Parihar. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a technologist, and again, as we mentioned, our attempt is to bring very, very, very notable faces from hospitality industry, and learn from them how they are in the COVID-19. What's their plan for the post-COVID-19, and overall, how the things are moving. What is the futuristic goal, and get learning more from them in this conversation that will definitely help our community. With that being said, let me start a very interesting conversation with all those notable faces here. So thank you everybody for joining this show. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now I see this a new, I would call a movement. I mean, is a IAHRC, right? It's a great association here. And one thing comes in my mind, of course, that what made you all to form the Association for Hotel Representative and Companies? And this question goes to Geeta.
So thank you so much, Sanjay ji. The association is the need of the association of hotels, whether companies or individual. The concept of representation is in India has been active from almost now 2 decades. But still, there is a large part of industry who does not understand what is representation all about. So this association is the via media to hear us and acknowledge at the same time. As we neither are the hotel owners nor we are employee. So it is a fair attempt to have due acknowledgement for all of us.
Great. And certainly thank you for giving this, it's a short and sweet and definitely information about your association. And the next question, basically, Mr. Jitendra, the question to you, what is the purpose of forming of association for hotel representative and companies? What is exactly is the purpose here? What is the mission statement there?
See, as Geeta has very rightly pointed out, right, the concept of representations, whether it was an individual representing a hotel or a company representing few hotels, right, this concept has been there for almost 2 decades now, right? And all of us individually or in fact, or the companies, we have been fighting our own battles with our own sphere individually, right? Somebody has got an issue with the one part of the industry, somebody's got issue with the other part of the industry, or some people have got issue among themselves itself, right? So we want basically that, we should be heard as one. We wanted to bring that concept of oneness in the in a fraternity as such, right? And bring together all of us under one single umbrella so that we are heard as one on either sides of the industry and our partners. That was number one. And secondly, basically, the issue of recognition, right? Whether it is the various platforms, whether they're private or the government platforms, we are not tour operators. We are not hoteliers, right? We do not fall on any of these categories. We are basically people who are bringing together the hotels to the tour operators, and we are acting as a bridge for both of them, right? We need to be heard separately, right? We want to create our own identity with the private platforms also and with the government platforms also. As we speak on it, which basically taught us, which we thought that we should come together under one particular umbrella to form this platform.
Wow, and that is certainly very inspiring here, and I can see that how it will be greatly value for the community as such. So certainly, thank you, Geeta and Mr. Jitendra, about talking about that. Rohit, it's pretty interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, Sanjay, definitely it's quite interesting. And as being in the industry for many years, and I see there's lots of the young people and they are the entrepreneurs, they are coming and they are forming things there. But there is always a backhand requires some association so that they can back it. And the other people, like something, it's not many people, they take this initiative to form the association for the benefits of other part of the member who are also running the same line. So that's a great initiative has taken by the team. And now it's a very important, this question goes to Mr. Digvijay for you. And who can be the part of your association? Because it's very important, like to make the people aware, like who can be the part of your association, and what would be the process to be the part of your association.
We this association is basically, we all are entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. 6 of us have worked very hard to get ourselves established, ran from here to another corners of, and to get whatever we are. And there are a couple of more people like us who are in the market. Any entrepreneurs who represent hotels, Indian hotels, or Indian hospitality companies can be part of us. Of course, we'll have a complete set of processes and code of conduct and certain things where to ensure that there are ethics which are kept in the business, and we not only understand the ethics but we value the ethics. So definitely there will be checkpoints and all, but any entrepreneurs who represent hospitality companies or hotels in India can be part of this.
Okay. And what would be the process, like something like if we want to update the people, like any kind of form or any kind of fees or something, any criteria required for that?
Yes, nothing comes from free. So there will be fee in to make us members. Of course, to cover a lot of other expenses because it's not easy. And there will be forms. And as I said, there will be a moral code of conduct, which we all are trying to finalize, on almost on the verge of finalizing. So we will be doing a complete code of conduct, which all members should value and practice. So that is our main aim, to ensure that we all follow good practices in trade. We will be sharing our hotel partners, not only to ensure the duplication is not there and there's a fair practice happening in our representation business, but also to ensure that both the sides, hotel and the representative companies, can take advantage of this association.
Right.
So this association, this platform will create a platform where we will still be helping each other. So that's the main aim.
Okay, perfect. So in that way, like these hotel and representative company can get the benefits being the part of this association. And maybe Mr. Jiten, you can also give some little more lights on that, like how when they become the part of this association, how they can get the benefits.
See, the whole concept of representation basically comes from a very basic thought process regarding the hotels. I would bifurcate the hotels into two major segments, actually, right? One are the big branded ones, right, who have their own systems in place. They are very well represented by the teams. In fact, their branding exercises in place. They are known, they are heard very well by the fraternity also, by the, whether it's tour operators or the government also. And simultaneously, there is enough that kind of accessibility into the source market, or they are not, they are not being heard at that particular level by the various associations or the industry as such. So we partner with those standalone hotels. We bring them to the mainstream of tourism. We get them into the main in fact, into the main programs into the industry, and we would like to be the voice for these hotels when it comes to be heard at that particular level. Through us, through the representatives who these hotels are being represented by, we will be voicing their concerns into the industry. So I'm sure that, in fact, while they are getting the benefit of a representative bringing in business to their doorsteps, simultaneously they'll have a great voice to be heard in the industry as well, simultaneously on various concerns of industry as and when they are there.
As I say, like being from the industry, that's the one thing I understand. Some of the hotel which is in the western part of India, and we have the office here in Delhi, which is the center of the northern part of India. And this thing is going to fill up a gap in a way. Definitely is going to really helpful a lot to many hoteliers to grow, or maybe some hotel association as well to get a benefit of that. Now, you are taking the take care and the interest of the hotel association. How your association is going to protect the interest of the hotelier, because it is again an important from the hotel prospect. Like if there's an association which is from the hotel association, how hoteliers can be protected their interest.
Jitendra ji correctly said that hotels will be benefited, like he has categorized the hotels in a very simply two categories, and that's what. So by hiring people like us, hotel marketing people, it is very cost effective method which help hotels to keep their sales and marketing budget low, and at the same time they are getting the professionals from a higher experience level like us, and getting them from the daily reports of sales team, monitoring of sales team, getting them into a complete process of hiring of regional sales team, etc., etc. They don't need that when they hire up like any companies like us. So that is the major benefit. And I think Shobhaji will be able to give much more benefits on this because she has now 60 hotels to take care of. Shobha ma'am.
So yeah, I mean, what Geeta said and what Jitendra also said, the whole idea of representation actually began with a gap in the industry. I mean, the value that representation and sales and marketing companies is not. I mean, though a lot of some of the group hotels also, especially those ones which are outside of India, do have a representation in India. What happens within the Indian subcontinent where representation has grown and flourished is largely for standalone hotels, right? They don't have a large enough inventory for them to warrant a separate sales team. Like Geeta said, it adds to their marketing costs. Secondly, they really don't need it. I mean, an 18-room hotel or a 10-room standalone hotel, they don't need that kind of, they don't really need a standalone salesperson. If you consider Delhi as the hub of the inbound primarily, for them to have somebody who really represents them, who is able to straddle multiple markets. For instance, if I have, we have close to 70 hotels. Some of them are very focused. I mean, most of them are very focused on the inbound, and there is also, there is at least 20 to 30% of them who are also focused on the domestic market. Now, this allows a marketing company and a standalone marketing or a representation company like us. It allows you to straddle different markets. I mean, that is one of the the best gains that you can look at, and of course, it really brings down your marketing costs. Also, a lot of these standalone hotels off the beaten track areas, they literally in the boondocks, right? We also supply them with market intelligence. We also supply them with intelligence about how they should be priced. And currently, especially with all this COVID disruption, we are actually their intelligence here. I mean, we are like that. I wouldn't like to call it the spies, but we have our ears to the ground. We are able to tell them what's working, what's not working, which market is is going to open up. And people also throw out all these numbers. There is 68% occupancies, and we are selling at 20,000 rupees and things like that. Because we are in the market, we have our ears to the ground. We know exactly what the ground reality is. We also act like huge advisors for all these people, right? And that is something that the advisory, advocacy, and also marketing intelligence is something very, very important for the hoteliers, I think. And of course, keeping their budgets low and constantly creating value for them by being in people's offices. I mean, there are so many hotels, and if Delhi is the only hub with approximately 1,500 tour operators across all markets, you have to be in their offices. Unlike abroad, where you can actually pick up the phone and say, I'm marketing so-and-so, and here's a mail I'm sending. In India, you need that face value. Mm-hmm. We are known as, these are hotels promoted by Geeta, these are hotels promoted by Shobha. That personal PR is very, very essential. And I think that's what we, more than anything else, advocacy, advisory, and great PR value is what we bring to hotels who work with us. And we literally are unsung heroes, believe me. If I were to be working independently with any one of the hotels, they probably won't be able to afford us. Independently, they won't be able to afford us.
Absolutely.
But as a collective, everybody kind of really pitches in and pays for all your enterprise and your wisdom and also all the hard work that you do.
In fact, I can understand the kind of experience the people they carry here, the kind of relationship is there, and definitely is going to help a lot to every standalone hotels, right, Sanjay?
Yeah, and like Sobhaji rightly mentioned, and it's and Geeta ji as well, for giving such a great insight that in India the market is different, and this requires more better human relationship, where it cannot be just done so much remotely or anywhere else, like picking up, calling or something. So that's great insight. Now my question to here to Shobhaji, Geetaji, and Mr. KP Singh, is you are all based on Delhi, and you have mentioned that Delhi is the main market, right? How are you planning to reach out to your assistants to hotel association in other parts of India?
I think we're just starting off at the moment. Mm-hmm. So once we establish ourselves, obviously we will have members who join us, right? So similar-minded people in the other cities would also join us. We would obviously appoint, in that case, we would appoint representatives, just like we would have elected members. Or, sorry, we would have in the executive committee, we would have people from different cities where you would have a representation company. Largely, what we feel that Delhi is a huge hub at the moment, where there are more than 70 odd companies here, or maybe 100 companies, representation companies here. We don't know how many are there in Maharashtra or in Gujarat or in Bengal. But as we form our association, I'm sure people would come and show their interest. They would join us as members. And then we would obviously appoint somebody on those states to monitor and create more members for themselves. And so we would have a complete organizational structure there.
Thing will be like we will enroll people from all over India, depending upon the numbers, how much we have from the certain states. So if we'll find that, let's say Mumbai area, Maharashtra has more number, or the Gujarat has more numbers of representatives like us. So we'll have an individual state chapters in place. So that is the second part of this. Initially, all over India, we will start a membership drive soon. And we will enroll people in this association, like-minded people like who are actually into this business, like Digvijay has explained in your previous question. So whosoever is into hotel representation, we'll add those as a member, and then we'll see which state has the more number of members. Then we'll think of adding the chapters in those states.
Wow. Great. Again, great insight. So basically, there's certainly a plan to reach out to the wider market and getting them onboarded as the time passes by. And with that perspective, again, this question is more related with the data. And I have seen somewhere that hotel representative and company generally contribute to over 40% of the hospitality economy when we talk about India. And this number is pretty big. I mean, it's a big figure. Could you?
So, Sanjay ji, I have to correct you here.
Yes.
I think the statement is like that we contribute almost 40% plus revenue of the participating hotels in like whatever hotel I represent, or KP sir represent, or Digvijay or Shobha ma'am or Shruti, whatever we are representing, we are contributing almost 40% of their revenue, not the total revenue of the India.
Yeah, in fact, like if I say, because this is something when you represent any hotel, and by your own sources, it's a good number of, as we say, like a big amount, which 40% are more than that, contribute to the hotel total revenue of the hotel. And of course, like when you say about that thing, how do you do that thing? Like, what is the strategy and how the hotels can get the benefit of that? So this question is definitely goes to, should I go ahead with Jitenji, aapse? Because you are the one who can answer the best.
Thank you, Roji. But isme kya hai, when we sign up any hotel, any standalone hotel, the process begins from budgeting actually, right? We are part of the hotel, like any sales team, what they would be appointing, right? So we are part and parcel of the industry, even of the hotel, right at the beginning of the process. Before the year starts, we would sit with the management team, with the accounts, right, with the prior datas of prior few years, and we'll sit and chalk out the strategy and the budgets basically for the coming period or the certain futuristic times. And based upon the source market where we are situated, right? For an example, if most of us, we are based in Delhi, so we will be contributing more from the inbound segment into the hotels, Right? If a hotel is situated in, let's say, Bikaner or down south in Udaipur or towards central India, so the port of entry being India, most of the DMCs, they are based out of Delhi. We will be the bridge between those DMCs and the hotels, and certainly the inbound would constitute the maximum or the, in fact, or the larger portion of the business going to those hotels. Right? So while being in Delhi, any business being generated from Delhi, we'll be responsible for that. And definitely the contribution is going to be 40% plus. It is only the certain local markets which the hotels are catering to them directly. And by and large now, India has seen quite enough surge into the wedding segments and in fact the local functions, social functions basically. So these are certain businesses which can be handled by the hotel better rather than any representative based out of that particular local environment, right? So if I'm sitting in Delhi, Shobha is sitting in Delhi, or Shruti or anybody of us sitting in Delhi, we will be bridging the gap basically between the tour operators and the hotels, and we will make sure that that particular business goes to that particular hotel as per our budgets. And as Shobhaji has rightly said earlier, the kind of experience we bring into the system now, right? A 20-year, 25-year, 30-year-old professional sitting there and taking that hotel, in fact, into the market. So that hotel does not need any further credibility better than that particular face which is carrying that hotel into the market, right? So this is basically, a small crux of how the business is basically rooted or routed towards that particular hotel.
Mm-hmm. In fact, like this particular topic, like seems to be really very interesting from the hotel prospect. And when you answered me, probably it's enlightened to me. Probably I was not aware about this exactly how it is going to the benefit to the hotels. And I wish like if any one of you else also like to add few more points, maybe Mr. Digvijay or maybe Shobha, if you'd like to add some few more points.
All of us, in fact, everybody, including Shruti, Jitendra, Vijay, KP, Nita, and I, we actually have literally brought a lot of hotels which were in off the beaten areas, some parts of rural India, some of the destinations which were not even on the forget about the tourism map, non-Googleable destinations. We actually brought them into the limelight. And this is, I mean, if you look at 70, even if you look at a minimum of about 70 members, each of the members having approximately, 20 to 25 hotels, you're looking at a large collection of hotels in offbeat destination. In fact, I believe, and these are the destinations, urban destinations do not contribute that much to the image of India. I believe that this is within our fold, within these representatives, within these independent representatives and companies, we actually contribute to the brand image of India, because these contribute to rural India, they contribute to an India of festivals, an India of places where handicrafts and dyeing crafts and dyeing traditions are highlighted in a very special way. Just before you joined in, we were talking about Sariska. Sariska quite literally fell off the wildlife radar. It is with coming of two very, very important hotels just now that Sariska is actually being looked upon as a wildlife destination again. Relocation of tigers was not really something anybody even promoted as a tourism idea. And Sariska, which is not even 3 hours from Delhi, is now boasting of 14 tigers. And it was one of those places, it was like the kind of the bad boy of conservation, because tiger population was completely wiped out. Right? So these are the kind of stories that we take to our counterparts, we take to our tour operators, and these are the stories they tell about India when they go and meet tour operators abroad, and it brings them to. I mean, where can you see a lovely rural landscape with a woman who's still in parda, holding a pot on her head and having a mobile next to her ear? This is quintessential India. And these you don't find in urban centers where large hotels are there. So I believe, and Dada bol diya partner ko dekh lenge, but I believe 70% of India's image rests with people like us.
What Shobha said, Shobha rightly said, Rohit, and we represent hotels, as Shobha said, are of heritage value, right? There's huge value attached to them. And what's interesting is if you take the price segment, they sell at a higher price than a regular branded hotel. You know, when I say a branded hotel would mean a Intercontinental or a Radisson, or even in a city like Jaipur, you'll find a Haveli selling at a higher price than a Radisson or Intercontinental. Why? Because people want that kind of an experience, to be there, to live in a authentic heritage Haveli. In terms of, that's how the value comes off from these properties.
That's in fact, like when you say about that, and when Shobhaji talked about the village, the one thing which I pointed to the Shruti, and Shruti has been doing a wonderful job, like bringing the lots of tribal belts of Gujarat area. So Shruti, I'd like to hear something from you on that, because it's a great work you're doing from Gujarat.
In fact, I was about to say, Sanjay and Rohit, that we would like to hear Shruti's voice also now on this. And you have just smashed the things from my mouth.
Yes. It's a great question, I was thinking, and I would say yes, it is definitely more than for all. So getting them onto the tourist sector and getting them that awareness, that visibility that they deserve, that requires. When we get into the sales part, there are a lot of portions of tourism society where the sales are required. Foremost is the inbound tourism, where we try and put these properties into their itineraries. Any typical inbound travel partner has an itinerary which is 70% to accommodation costing. So if you have 100% cost, 70% is accommodation. So we are fitting in our hotels, we are offering our properties for 70% of the costing of that itinerary. So that is a huge number. Then after that, then there are these domestic agents giving awareness to domestic people, and then there are these event management companies. Now, event management companies, you don't just get into weddings or small incentives or offsites or corporate events. There are those kind of events as an off-road biking, or else maybe festivals like a Hola Mohalla, like a Goria. So these kind of festivals.
Maybe Jal Mahotsav.
Jal Mahotsav is again something similar. So these kind of experiences, and camping is another accommodation which was it's a temporary glamping stuff, but it is an accommodation which is an option for people to go and explore these offbeat places, which was never possible before. And when we gave this option, people loved it. They are taking it. That again gives another rise of revenue to the entire tourism sector, which was never ever thought of before. So overall, if you look at it, the holistic part of it, we become much higher providers of revenue into tourism, into that particular property, compared to any 55% kind of thing. I would say it's much higher if you add the whole thing up.
Yeah, also if you remember, Jawai's prominence came with that one particular hotel that came on to, that happened there. And then the destination got highlighted. And when the destination got highlighted, many more hotels joined. So, which is why I say we contribute to over 70% of Brand India, right? So Jawai today has created tourism history. Of course, Jawai is not tourism. Actually, it is the Rabadi, right? So the whole story is being taken up, and telling these compelling stories to keep inspiring tour operators is another big part of it. Otherwise, wo to Delhi, Agra, Jaipur hi bechte reh jate. It is, I think, because of people like us who brought in the whole idea of another India, which is, without these elephants and without Taj. I mean, there is no, in a lot of the properties in a lot of the areas that we promote, we don't have any huge monuments to promote, but they are still heritage. I mean, KP Singh rightly pointed out, and we believe that these heritage places are, the large forts and palaces do get funding, and they have trust funds and everything. The small ones are independent initiatives. People put their time and energy to really reinstate it and repurpose it as a heritage place to stay, and taking that and telling that story has become very, very important, which is why I keep saying I believe that these guys are custodians of heritage, and we are the mouthpiece, and we are the storytellers for them, bringing them into the larger tourism itineraries into the larger tourism ambit?
In fact, all this awareness is why corporates like a Jeep or a BMW or a Mercedes have started contacting, coordinating these offbeat places because they want to do some test drives, they want to do off-road driving session, they want to do extreme marathon. So those kind of things have started coming only because we have started talking about these places. They are available for you to use. So a lot of changes come out of it, and new revenue is generated.
That is the unsung part, Sanjay. Nobody realizes that, somebody who started one destination with the first hotel throws open the door, not only the hotelier, the marketeer also opens the door and the opportunity for more hotels to come around there. So Jawai today has several hotels. While the first hotel, Castle Beda and all have been there for a very long time, but Jawai was not that popular. While the Jawai story of the leopards and shepherd existed as it is, Beda and Sujan and all these hotels that came in really expanded the horizon for Jawai.
It's a fantastic example that you've given, Shobha, about Jawai, because it really is a destination. Beda has been there for a long, long time. But the destination never came up.
And I believe with all these answers of this question, now all the questions and answers, like why we need this association, IAHRC, why this is important. We covered all the aspects, why our recognition is important, why we need this association. Now this is covering all your answers. Let's continue with the next one.
Right, and that's where so this is not just like the one hotel story. This is like the destination development, isn't it, Sanjay?
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And being a technology spin, I'm hearing this. Subhaji mentioned about the unsung part and unexplored part, taking that brand India to a different level and putting in the map. And I think that is the main main mission from this association coming from. Now, my next question is a little bit towards the people who are coming into the market. There's a lot of young people who will be joining with a similar profile. What's your message to them now and after this pandemic as such?
And Mr. Jitesh Sharma ji, if you can answer this question.
Yeah.
All the hard work has been done, right? The platform is ready for a takeoff now, provided that platform in the industry for the new guys to come in as entrepreneurs, as hotel representatives. They don't have to undergo the struggle what we guys have done, basically. We have undergone, right? So I think that guys come, it's a beautiful industry. It's a beautiful opportunity, right? A great opportunity to, do some great work for your channel partners, for your hotels, and for yourself also. And when we started our lives in this industry, the economics also used to be very, very poor. But now, if you really work hard, right, you bring value onto the table for the both your partners, your associates in the tour operation side also, and the hotel parts also. I think it's a win-win situation and a very good place to be in right now.
Amazing. And thank you for sharing the insight. Like you said, this will be very collaborative and very beneficial for the young entrants in this market, and converting to the young entrepreneur with the help of your association. That's something which will be very exciting for young people. Now, definitely I have heard about what the association want to do, IAHRC want to do. And I also have some idea about where it is heading to. But still, I want to ask this question. What is your future vision looks like? Where we are heading to? Of course, some sense we already have. But I just want to put this question in front of the audience and want to ask, what exactly your vision for the future, in a year and 2 years from now?
I would nominate Shobhaji to answer this question.
Absolutely. Please go ahead.
I mean, there are lots of ideas, and I think that would be well equipped to answer because it was a collective vision that took us forward. One of the things I would like to see, and you said collaboration. The travel business, unfortunately or fortunately, is not a big fan of collaboration. We play our cards, very close to our chest, and I'm a big believer in collaboration. And I think one of the things that I think IAHRC can do differently, and I hope we are set to achieve this because we all are thinking in the same direction, and if you hear Jitendra talk about this, you know what I mean, is that we as a body, there is so much intelligence here. There is so much experience. I mean, between these 6 people, we have close to over 150 years of experience. I mean, work experience, and we bring that much amount of insight into it. And you can talk about online and OTAs and selling remotely and on Zoom. There is a certain element of travel which is very personal, which is very one-on-one, which is storytelling when I'm looking into your eyes and I'm using my hands, and it's almost like a dance drama when I'm telling you a story, which cannot happen with the OTAs. This story of the small, independent, boutique, owner-run hotels, we can only be efficiently taken out and taken on by people like us. And this is 70 and growing and across the board. And as a body, we also believe that we will be able to share. And we rightly pointed out that a lot of young people coming in, they come with a lot of technology insight. In fact, none of us have a lot of technology insight. I mean, Jitendra and KP maybe and Digvijay, I don't have too much of technology insight at all. But I drive my market through the sheer power of storytelling and communication, right? And I think we as representation companies addressing the B2B market straddle that fine line between technology and personal interface. It's a sweet spot, and not everybody can get it. And this is something hoteliers don't understand. And the beauty of relationships, you can only have so much on a long distance relationship, right? So I think that is one thing that we as a body, we'd like to set benchmarks. We'd like to invite people and understand and learn this trade better, improve ourselves. I mean, if technology is a big way forward, we would also like to be learning as we go along.
Wow. And like you said, this is the perfect sweet spot where the intersection of technology and hospitality as such, and your association is kind of in kind of helping and personal interface. Wow. That's definitely great to hear. And Rohit, it's pretty interesting, right?
Yes, quite interesting. And there's a lots of things are there. Probably we would like to carry on for an hour, so it will go on. Like the lots of interesting things are coming from these people. But
Rohit, I would like to add herein, like how we started, and like you have asked the questions. So see, we have conceptualized this idea from a WhatsApp group to the association by like-minded people in the same profession. So so Shobha ji has clearly mentioned everything, but I will say a line here, which I feel, be the change you want to see in the world. These are the very kind words by Mr. Gandhi. So our world, hum log ka jo word hai, is just limits to our work. And what we want? We want the recognition of our work. So once we are recognized, sky is the limit for IAHRC.
That's very nice. Wow. And now we are coming to the concluding question, and here, which is really important, because the place where we coexist in the trade, like what would be your message of IAHRC to the trade? And maybe like you all can contribute with your answers. Everyone can like mention. Maybe I can begin with Mr. Jitenji.
We are here to help each other and to grow together.
Digvijay ji, it's been long, like maybe you say something on that.
I'd like to second it of Mr. Sharma. We definitely would like to help each other and grow in this difficult time. Collaborating in today's time and always has been helpful for each other, especially in these times when you definitely need help from the market and you need to help the market. So that's what we will be doing here.
Perfect, great. And Mr. Singh.
I'd like to say that I'd like to tell the trade with the hoteliers and the travel people that we've arrived. And we would not be, considered something else, or we would not be taken elsewhere. But there is a group, there is a unified group now where we have arrived to do what we need to do and achieve our goals. So that's what my message would be.
Shobhaji, definitely, I'd like to hear from you, the message.
I think we're unified in this approach. We really like to grow together and also be considered as a part of everybody's growth story, right? It's, whether a tour operator or a hotel group or, a destination or Brand India for that matter, we would like to be considered as somebody who has contributed effectively and efficiently to the growth of the brand India.
Great. And Geeta, the president of the association, what's your take?
Thank you so much, Rohit. We believe in unity. We should start opening the industry. That is my message first. But by making believe in us once again, make people all over the world believe in India that we are safe to travel like any other country is. Let's run our business earnestly with all honesty. We must take all necessary precautions to make world see a more woke India. That is my answer. And one line again for everyone. Winter always turns to spring. And I firmly believe that after a dark, lonely winter comes the colorful, bright, and cheerful spring. So let's hope that we'll be back soon.
Shruti is left.
Shruti, yeah. Yeah, and I kept Shruti in the last message to come from Shruti now.
How sweet. You on all the brownie points.
I would just say we need to hold hands and move on. This too shall pass. This will also be another story in our lives, but we will keep moving. We have to keep moving. We can't stop.
Well, Rohit, what this COVID has done for us is brought us all together, which is a good thing. And we formed this association during this period, which is quite historical in itself. So I think, as a unified organization, we would go ahead and do our bit for the trade.
Yeah, definitely. I say the kind of people you are in an association, and since I have worked almost with everyone, and I know everyone personally, and I understand how gracefully you work and how you love your profession and your work. So thank you very much. Yeah, Sanjay, anything to conclude here?
Yeah, I mean, so while now we are about to wrap up our conversation, and honestly, when I'm hearing the messages and the collaboration, like you mentioned, the collaboration is something which was not there now. This is bringing a very positive collaboration with a very right mission in the mind that let's go together. This will pass. And in a way, we are seeing that trend now in different countries. We are seeing the little bit trend there. So collaboratively, we'll solve this problem and we'll go with the journey. We'll give an opportunity for young entrants and many more. So I'm pretty, pretty impressed with the whole mission from IAHRC. So thank you everybody for joining this with us. We definitely want to continue the conversation for another 1 hour, but respecting your time, I just want to say that we are definitely about to wrap up.
Thank you so much, Rohit and Sanjay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you, Sanjay ji.
Thank you so much, Rohit and Sanjay ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rohit.